So devotion is feminine energy. When you say you have to be devoted to something, to someone, it comes from a heart space, whereas commitment is more of a masculine. You know how I always say this to you guys, that commitment is the essence of the masculine. True masculine has to be committed, right? This is why our poor masculines struggle so much on this journey, because most of them have panic fear of commitment because of their woundings. Why are they afraid of commitment? Because they're not committed to themselves. Okay, this is the first, just like with everything we have to start from ourselves. We're never going to be able to love anyone or allow anyone to love us if we don't have true self-love, true self-respect. And for the masculines, self-commitment, self-respect, self-control, we talked about this yesterday as well, it's needed, right? So it's like they wanting you to really understand. And they're also showing me the triangle. You know how I always talk about the triangle of divine feminine, divine masculine, and source, the essence of divine union. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've done a video about this a while ago, so you can scroll down. Or you can also go to my website, and there's a section of divine love, and it sort of explain that. I think there's a link to that video in there as well. The true union happens when there's devotion, there's commitment to the journey, commitment to self, yes, but the masculine, he devotes himself to the feminine, because she is the portal to the right path, to the divine, whereas the feminine devotes herself to the Most High and to her mission. I feel it's time for you, for this, everything that we said, watch previous part, everything that we said, it's because they wanting you to put you in this frequency of high priestess, of true divine feminine. I am devoted to my mission. I will not cave for no one, because I know my path. I'm devoted to source. I'm devoted to truth. And tune into the portal of your heart. I always say this, the biggest journey that we have to do on this path, on this journey, is the journey from our head to our heart. We both have to do it. First the feminine, because we lead the way from the head to the heart. Raise our energy to the level of the heart. This is when magic starts to happen. When you release the conditioning, the thinking mind, the nonsense of this world, the matrix, the physical existence. You are in your heart. You exist in your heart. And you almost feel it every day in your vibration. And when that happens, your masculine follows the way, right? And he goes to the level of the heart, because devotion can only happen from the level of the heart. There's no logic in devotion. We devote ourselves, our existence, to someone or to an idea. The feminine is devoted as well to her masculine, right? But the priority is always the mission. This is why watch the triangle thing. It's important. This is how we keep them on the mission as well. To really, it's like they wanting you to really be in that inner temple right now, to be in your inner temple, to learn to be the high priestess. But again, remember, there's still something you need to let go of. Get grounded. Get grounded. The time will come when you need to get grounded. Right now you're floating. All right, let's do your masculine. I sort of want to see how's his emotion right now, and then we're going to do the same cards as we did for you. Where's the emotion of this masculine? Woo! Disruption. Magic! Flow. We felt that for you, remember? 2 more. surrender and ghosts. We have determination at the bottom of the deck. This is, to be honest, this is very feminine energy. And it's funny because remember in your part we said that you're very much in your feminine right now because there's something that you need to feel into that feminine, that high priestess, that oracle, right? Before you really ground into that masculine, and that sort of creates that inner union, right? Both are ready, both are healed. And I feel like your masculine is in his feminine energy right now as well. I'm hearing because he's healing his feminine. Remember, in order to reach inner union, we have to heal both, right? We have to heal both. And usually that healing starts from the feminine, from the inner feminine, because this is the energy that holds the emotions, right? That teaches us to deal with emotions, to use our emotions. With that ghost, what I'm actually hearing is that he is a bit of a ghost right now. They're showing me like it's just this energy with no form. Do you know what I mean? That it's floating so much. It's so do you know how we always say that, you know, the feminine is the chaos and is everything, and then the masculine is the container, right? So it's like both of you are right now very disconnected from the masculine. It's like you're both floating. But it's beautiful because there's magic, there's surrender. Again, do you know how I always say, watch, if this reading resonated, go to my YouTube. I have a masterclass for Divine Feminine. I always recommend, if you're truly on this journey, you watch the whole masterclass, whole 12 episodes. But there's one episode that talks about the journey of the feminine and journey of the masculine, and I explain in this episode how we always mirror and we always go through same things, but in the physical they are a little bit, I don't like to use this word behind, because we're always equals. It's just that it's different because we operate in 5D, they operate in 3D. We do the soul work, they do the karma work. We do it for both of us, and this is why we have to really understand that we need to lead and do the spiritual work for both of us, because they are paying karma for both of us in this physical world, right? It's just this division of task, but we go through same things. It's just that because we lead the way on this journey, because this journey is very spiritual, right? For us, it may be like our 10th rodeo. So it's already, remember how I say we return to the same wounding for X amount of times, because we approach it from a different perspective and we do it deeper. And for them, it may be the first time, but through the fact that for us, it's not the first rodeo, we already know how to deal with this. So we give them strength through red thread. So I feel like you are both going through this state of surrendering. It's just like you're fully surrendering to the journey, to your feminine. Whereas he's surrendering, we're going to see in a moment what he's surrendering to. I'm looking at this disruption. Something happened for both of you that initiated this process. It's like for you, it was an ascension on a spiritual level. Whereas for him, I feel like it was an actual thing that happened. Let's see what's going on with our masculine. Let's see. Let's see. What are you up to, our little masculine? What are you up to? Okay, we have let's talk sex. 25. Does this support the life I desire? Number 40. This is 2 more. Why so stubborn? Oh, they are so stubborn. so distorted masculine, they don't even realize. Raise the bar. We've recently been having a lot of these for masculines. I feel like they're going through whichever mother wound, whichever stage of the journey they're at, they're going through this realization that, damn, I can do better. My life can be better. I can, surround myself with better people. Which makes sense because you're going through this energy cleanse as well. Remember, where you went through this in your part, that you're going through this really, what am I surrounding myself with, right? I need to be more mindful of that energy to energy relationship with everything. But it's good. These are very reflective cards. I want to read through this Why So Stubborn, and then we'll talk and we'll do some more. Number 35. Stubbornness is not an indication of strength of character or firmness of your opinions. It's a big fat shadow, and it's time to recognize it. And it's funny because our masculines, when they distort it, they actually think that. They are so freakishly stubborn, but they think that it's a good thing. And what do I always say to you guys? This is why shadow work is so tricky. It's so important, but it's so difficult because our shadows always disguise ourselves as light. They make us think that it's a good thing. So when you're stubborn, it's actually a big fat shadow, and we're going to read in a moment where it comes from. But it makes us think that we're just opinionated, that we're just strong. We just know what we want. We just determined. No, you're stubborn. You're stubborn. A healthy person has an open mind. A healthy person knows two-way conversation. There's a card in this deck that talks about it as well, that the conversation, communication, it's a two-way street. When you're stubborn, you're in your ego. You're not allowing anything in. Okay, so let's read through this. If you pull this card, your guides invite you to contemplate on it. Perhaps you have developed fear of vulnerability as consequence of past betrayal, or need of control to protect yourself from being influenced and manipulated. Fear of failure or need of validation can be another root cause. Work on the quality of your masculine energy. Create sense of stability within and trust in your ability to hold on to your values, no matter the circumstances. Opening the mind is key on your path towards growth and awakening. And they're showing me one specific thing. Remember in your part, I mentioned, and it came to me and I didn't really get it why. And I told you that this is why children need routine, because it creates stability and structure in their life, right? And with stubbornness, one of the root causes of the shadow of being stubborn is that people who in childhood have no structure, right? So it may be that, they move a lot. It may be that they're a child of a working mom and a single mom, or there's no masculine structure in their life, right? So they go to bed at different time every night. Maybe one day they spend the night at the grandma, then there's the nanny, there's chaos, there's no structure. They don't know what's going to happen next day, right? So when that happens in your life, that you literally, as a child, you don't know what you're going to do next day. Am I going to go to school? Am I going to go to grandma's? Are my parents are going to be there with me? Are they going to be fighting? Is my mom's going to be too busy to spend time, right? When you don't have that, you force that stability in your life. And because it's a wounding, oftentimes people like that become stubborn because they really think that this stubbornness, I'm not going to change my mind, I'm not going to do it differently, it's creating this false sense of security, right? So maybe he's going through some realization. I feel this masculine is very stubborn. I can feel this in my energy right now. But again, I want to read through the reasons, the root causes, so we can really contemplate on it. And if you're masculine watching, fear of vulnerability as consequence of past betrayal, that can be one root cause. So people who have been betrayed, they start to be very fearful of vulnerability, and they become stubborn to change their ways, to change their opinions, again because it creates the false sensation of firmness, right, in their lives. I'm not going to be allowing anyone to change my mind because it's going to be followed by betrayal, right? They're probably trying to trick me. Need of control to protect yourself from being influenced or manipulated. That's another thing. If they had experience of being lied to, manipulated, especially by distorted feminine, they oftentimes develop stubbornness. It's like, I'm not gonna, even if I know you're right, they have this horrible fear that you're manipulating me. You're not trying to convince me, you know, that there's a different truth. You're trying to manipulate me. So that's the stubbornness. Fear of failure or need for validation can be another root cause. Okay. So that may be something that he's working on, but 3 of the 4 cards are growth, so it's a good thing. He is growing. He is having some self-reflection, right? With the raise a bar, and this is this the life that I desire, he would be thinking right now. It's funny, it is, this collective and yesterday's collective are quite, it's a different thing and different woundings that we were talking about, but there are similarities and some realizations. And again, I'm seeing someone who is doing contemplation, right? Could I maybe do better? Maybe it's time to raise the bar. Maybe I do deserve better. Maybe I just been stubborn with myself, and I've been just saying to myself that my life cannot be changed, but it actually can. And I really love this first card, Let's Talk Sex, because this card talks about healthy sexuality, right? And I want to read, I'll just quickly read through this. Healthy sexuality is extremely important for masculine energy. Your lower chakras are vulnerable to imbalance as you are deeply rooted in the physical realm. This combined with your personal traumas and patriarchal system we live in may cause a complete disconnect from your sacral and heart space. Examine what sex means to you. Is it a physical necessity? It's not physical necessity. It is not sport. It is deep, sacred act of fusing 2 bodies and allowing them to release in ecstasy so their souls can touch. It's sacral energy exchange. You are being called to heal your sexuality. Connect deeply to your body and raise your sacral energy to the level of the heart. You're both connecting to your body. You're both feeling more your body. You're both feeling different in your body. You're both connecting to your heart. Again, for you, it's on a whole other level. For him, it may be that he's starting to reflect on it. I can do better. Okay? I deserve better. Maybe he's going through some karmic relationships, I'm hearing, and starting to think, I do deserve a woman that will not only be there for like the physical pleasures or the physical things, but that will hold my soul. And what happens when they start to think that? They naturally go back to us, because we are that woman. Your divine feminine can hold your soul like there's no tomorrow. We are your soul. We know your soul. We are your high priestess. Right? I want to do another role to connect. Let's talk sex. To confirm. Why did I say connect? Yes, you can! Yes, you can. Yes, you can do better. Does this support the life I desire? Connect to nature, see? And what do I always say? I think I've mentioned this as well in one of my previous videos. It's been a theme that whenever I speak to masculines, because it's so hard for them to be vulnerable, to do shadow work, to work with spiritual teachers, therapists, connecting to nature is always the way. If you want to raise yourself to the level of the heart, this is beautiful. You are what you attract. That's on top of that. Does this support the life that I desire? I feel like he's starting to realize. And I'm hearing the same thing for yesterday's collective, right? This is this moment when the masculine shifts from thinking, because for a very long time they think they're victims of their fate, right? Now he's realizing that he's the master of his destiny. Now the actions have consequences. There are things that he did in his life, maybe through stubbornness, maybe through not knowing how to release, maybe for not knowing that he deserves better, that he attracted certain people and situations into his life. Raise the bar. You affect them too. It's a beautiful, connect to your body sign. You are both you're feeling differently in your body. I'm hearing, I don't want to trigger you, but I'm hearing that maybe he had an intimate encounter with someone recently, and it actually made him feel like even sick. And it may have nothing to do with the person that he's been with. You know what I always say to you guys? Karmics are not all evil, right? Just wounded people. Sometimes you can have a karmic connection that you have to go through, that you will actually cause pain to this person. So it may have been, a good person and an okay person, and not just this vicious karmic. But this is why on the journey of spirituality, and I always say this to you guys, and I've done so much content recently about this, that I cannot ever understand how people dare to say that they're spiritual and they sleep around, or they sleep with people who are karmic connection. They know that this is not my soulmate, this is not my twin soul, yet I sleep with this person. I have no soul-to-soul, true, meaningful connection. Even if you're in a committed relationship, but this is your karmic, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do this? You cannot call yourself, most people do that, and it's fine. I always say this to you guys, that the spiritual life, it's one of the final lives that we live, but you cannot call yourself spiritual. Spiritual means that you connect to your spirit. You understand that you have a spirit. You understand that your spirit has a body, not other way around. So if you were spiritual, your spirit would never allow your body to sleep with a karmic. Ever. Our soul has no need for physical intimacy as distorted world understands it. It's just like body to body because I need to release, right? Our soul has no need for that. Our soul has a need for soul to soul connection, right? And to use our body to, through pleasure, achieve that deep connection. So our soul, you're not spiritual, okay? You're not. Spiritual people, we live in celibacy until the day comes that we reach divine union. For some of us, very few of us, it's the divine union with our true twin soul, our twin flame. And for many people, this is a divine union with their soulmate. And if it's not that, we're not gonna, don't touch my coat. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like he had a bit of a lesson in that area. I'm literally seeing someone looking at another person and thinking in their head, oh my God, I can do better. It's when we grow, it's funny, I'm deviating, but it's important. When we grow, when we raise our energy to the level of the heart, we really only thrive in deep connections. So there's this moment, we can be sitting in front of someone who's a friend or in this case, a lover, and be like, who are you? You don't even know me. You have no idea. Why am I allowing you to touch my body if you have no idea how to interact with my spirit? Do you know what I mean? And with this, you affect them too. It's also a beautiful card, because this is why I'm hearing that this encounter wasn't with a karmic connection. Because I always say to you guys that it's difficult when a karmic is very abusive, abruptive, very toxic person. It's easy to do like chop, whatever, you've been a karmic. But sometimes we have karmics who are really, good people. Good, they may be wounded. Obviously, if a woman goes and just sleeps with you without a connection, she's wounded, okay? I don't care what anyone says. But she may have been a good person, and it's this realization like, damn, I affect them too. For a very, very long time, masculines, I'll just quickly read through this because it's important. When we live in a house of shadows, we can sometimes become so overwhelmed with our own misery that we forget that we affect others too. People hurt you, people ignore you, and and people trigger you, but chances are you have caused those emotions in others as well. It takes a victim to create a victim, and often we attach ourselves to our own story so strongly that we lose the moment of becoming the perpetrator in other people's stories. This card challenges you to focus on how you affect others and contemplate. Yeah, this is what I'm hearing, that it was the lessons for two reasons. So I am hearing that there was something, maybe for not all there was an actual, very deep intimacy, but maybe there's been, things happen. And first lesson was like, why am I allowing you to, touch my body when you cannot even touch my soul? That was the first lesson. And the second one, because I'm hearing that this person wasn't actually a bad person. So for a very long time, our little masculines, you are so deeply wounded that you only think about your own traumas, your own fears, you're in your ego, right? So when you do things, when you ghost, when you disappear, when you disappoint us, when you do this to other women as well, when you act like this towards other people, you think about you, right? Because I don't want to be with you right now, because I don't want to deal with this, because I don't want to talk to you. And you don't even think the ripple effect it has, how much you affect another, that you can actually cause trauma in another person. And there's this moment of awakening when they realize, oh my God, it's not just me that's wounded. So maybe something happened, maybe he communicated actually for the first time to this person that, I don't really, or maybe he didn't, but somehow she found her way to lash out on him. And for the first time, he realized, I'm hearing that there was someone, they're showing me a variety of situations because obviously it's a collective, but that there was someone that, afterwards they actually found out how much this person was hurt or disappointed. And they were like, why did I do this? I hurt myself and I hurt this person. There was absolutely no benefit in it. There's a reflection here. I like it. Well, they learn through these karmic situations, right? For the feminists, again, it's sometimes hard for us to know this, and it's triggering, right? But it's true that we learn our lessons on a soul level. So for a very long time, yes, we do have lessons with like karmic family. Maybe on this journey here and there, we'll go out on a date and we have a little karmic lesson experience. But our biggest pain, we transmute it into love on a soul level. We do this on healing sessions, in meditations, in past life regression, on shamanic journeys. We purge crying in the forest, right? Because it's a soul level. But for them, it's physical level. It's level of the karma. Karma exists on the physical level only. So these situations have to happen for them to learn and to understand. They wouldn't, we sometimes learn from visions and dreams. They would not be able to do that. So these things have to happen. All right. Let's quickly tap into his energy. What's on his mind right now? That's what I'm hearing. We should ask. What's his energy? What's on his mind? Okay. He has summer solstice as well. A few weeks. Shift. Let go of control. you have the same energy. We have the sun, masculine energy. That's very beautiful. We have Queen of Coins and we have Seven of Cups. He is going through some sort of a shift. I'm hearing that he is feeling a little confused, a little lost. It's like, it's this moment when you recognize the lessons, but you're not fully, do I really understand this lesson correctly? Why is this happening? I know this is happening for a reason. Do you know what I mean? He is going through a shift. There's something about really self-worth. You know, the masculines for a very long time, they think that, again, it's the stubbornness. They think they're strong, they think they're wise, right? So they sleep with all these women, they interact with all these women, they flirt, they play around, right? And to an outside observer who's a mature person, we know that this is because they're seeking validation, they have zero self-esteem, right? But they don't know this. They think that this is just them being men, them having fun, right? Them, because they don't go deeper. They don't go deeper into understanding, why am I doing this, right? How am I affecting the other person? What does this really mean? And I think there's just this realization of, with this I can do better, with everything that we said, he's starting to realize that it was coming from lack of self-love. You would be so surprised. People I talk to, people I work with, you would be so surprised. Most people that I know would say to me that they love themselves. I know one person. One in my, friends and family sort of that loves themselves. One dear friend of mine. The other ones, they're the Lulu. They think that people think that they love themselves, but when they truly look at their lives, if you were really to love yourself, would you? I always say this, imagine yourself as this amazing, beautiful, wonderful child that you love so deeply. Would you want for your child to sleep around with random people? Would you want for your child to be in a karmic relationship? Would you want for your child to be in a karmic job? To be in denial of their wounds? To be with friends that are just like rubbish? No. So you're doing this. So how you want to say to me that you love yourself? How? A person who loves themselves follows their passion, connects to soulmates, takes care of their body, what they eat, how they treat it, how they love it. Right? Let me do just one more row to clarify, because it's been incredibly long reading. The sun. I'm liking the sun. Tell me more about the sun. Page of Wands. That's nice. I feel like, yes, you're both, I said this, you're both in your feminine energy, but you are rising in your feminine energy. You're truly feeling into divine feminine. You're getting to know her. It's like, who is this divine feminine? I'm loving her, right? She's floating around. She's this high priestess. She loves herself. He is in the beginning of the journey to start to feel into the divine masculine. He has been healing the feminine within, right? Through the lessons, through the woundings, he's having this aha moment, what a true divine masculine really is, because he didn't know this. They're not distorted because they want to be distorted. They are distorted because they think that this is what true man is, right? The conqueror, the like cocky, stubborn little, right? This is what they associate manhood with. There's a moment of awakening, they're like, damn, that's not true masculinity. It's like he's in the beginning of this journey. But remember, it's a page. I don't know, equinox. You have the same timing cards. It's going to be extremely important period of time for both of you. This summer, it's going to be a summer of transition. It's like whatever needs to be let go of. For you, whatever you need to let go of this summer, let that shit go. For him, it's going to be the reminder of healing that feminine, realizing, right, reflecting on intimacy, on connections, on friendships. And it's like in fall, you're really going to be grounding in your energies. You're going to be grounding in like, maybe even I'm hearing inner union. And he's going to be starting to understand what a true divine masculine is. And I'm looking at those long-term plans. Masculines struggle with long-term plans, especially in relationships, because they have panic fear of commitment, which they don't, fully understand. But 6 of Swords, but it's in reverse. I am hearing some travel, so he may have some travel on the cards, like summer, fall. Ace of Coins, but in reverse, and Six of Wands. Stay on top of your game. You know, sometimes we have to give them strength. We have to stay on top of our games. And I am, again, this is a collective. You know what I always say in collectives, it can go both ways, but they are showing me sort of a cycle repeat. It's like he's going to learn some lessons, but not necessarily all of them. So summer is going to be very transformative, and then I'm hearing that it's sort of a undecided when it comes to fall. It will depend what path he will take. So it may really go towards, you know, that grounding and that transformation, or we may have to repeat a cycle. It's under review right now. Remember what we said, it's like they're always watching, they're always planning, they're always preparing us for something, and it's like it's under review. What are you going to do? They are preparing some more challenges, and I'm hearing like, are you going to go fall back into your old ways, or have you learned? He's going through this lesson with this person right now, very deep lesson, that you affect others too, that you shouldn't be, you know, everything that we said about intimacy. So I think they're going to hit him with one more lesson, very hard lesson, to review the progress. Is he going to say no to shallow things, to shallow pleasures, to... I'm hearing that it may be also related to this cockiness, this low self-esteem, that's like you want to show off, you want to... So maybe there's going to be, you know, a person in his life that's really going to be like, you know, pleasuring his ego and making him feel like he's so amazing, he's so masculine, he's so special. So are you going to see lesson on it, in it, or are we going to have to hit you harder? Do you know what I mean? So stay on top of your game, focus on you. Think about also, sometimes it's very important when we hear these things that they're going through lessons with another person, how does it trigger you? It shouldn't. I know it's hard whenever we hear, whether it's in real life or in psychic readings, that they are connected to someone. There's always a pain in our heart, right? We want them to be connected to us, especially that we live a path of celibacy, right? On this journey, most divine feminine, true, my universal truth, true twinnies, true divine feminines, we live a life of celibacy. So sometimes it's triggering, so use that as well. Analyze why it's so triggering you. It shouldn't. On the level of the soul, you know that out there in spirit realm, you're always together. So what he does in the physical, those are his lessons and the karma that he pays for both of you, right? Just like you do soul work for both of you. All right. I hope this was helpful. I've seen Hierophant at the bottom of the deck in reverse, which can be a little bit stubbornness as well. I hope this was helpful. I love you so incredibly much. If it was, please like, share, and comment, and I will be back tomorrow.